to the can. Strike 3 on the inside. See what he comes back with here on the 2-2. Oh, perfectly done.
Up to the left side, Alvarius comes over right at the railing. Oh! And makes a great catch! He ended up in the first row. Alvarius ends the game with the defensive jam of the afternoon.
Ready? Let's end it. K-Zone Podcast, Episode 8. We just did a podcast not long ago with Brad Allen and David St. John, and by not long ago, I mean
5 minutes.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So we're kind of taking it back to the first couple podcasts where it's just small group, and we don't have a guest on this one, but we're just going to kind of talk about the first week of duck season. We're in the split right now. Season comes in 2 days, but we had a really good hunt opening morning. Produced a video. It's already out.
Yep.
If you guys haven't seen that, go watch it. It's opening day, back to the money trees.
Yep.
And
they were money
They
that
were
day.
money, indeed.
Hence the name.
I think we shot 7 limits.
42, yeah, 7-man limit, and I would bet at least 35 were teal.
No.
Pounded them. Pounded the green wing.
30.
I think 30.
We shot 8 mallards and a bunch of gadwall and a couple of widgeon, I think.
It's actually kind of a few things that happened. So, duck hunted Saturday morning, shot our limit. I bailed on you fools Sunday morning. Good.
For good reason.
Woke up Sunday morning, had a little birthday feeling.
Yeah.
Packed the boys up, went to the slough, dropped them off at the boat launch, and Daddy went to the deer stand. And ended up killing a buck we call Scraps. I think I killed him in 30 minutes. So while y'all are in the slough.
It had to be early because Nate got a phone call at
While I was broke
Before
down on
7
the boat,
o'clock probably.
Josh was calling me.
yeah.
No, because the money trees day number 2 was just the total opposite of day number 1.
I knew that was going to happen, though.
Yeah, but that was the only spot where we had ducks, and then we get over there, the boat starts breaking down on me. I'm about to crap my pants. Can't get back. That's
why you were trying to take the boat back to start
yeah.
with.
We got everything set up. Everybody was hunting. I had to go back to the launch because I was about to have a problem. The boat breaks down halfway, and so I was out there stranded for about 20 minutes getting that fixed, and then said, "Screw the poop. I'm going back to the trees." Get back to the trees, and Josh calls me. He's like, this deer came in. And
I watched that video yesterday.
it jumped back, so I didn't want it to blow, so I shot it. I was like, what? Like, at first, I was just like, oh, it was just a doe. Like, I probably would have done the same thing, honestly.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it had these giant white horns on it. And I was like, Tom, what? And he ended up shooting it.
Yeah, it was on speaker, and he was like, it was dark, I couldn't see, but this deer was pissing me off, and I just shot it. He's like, I was like, oh, no, he's not calling Nate if just because he shot a random deer, and then, he said he had a lot of white stuff on top of his head. I'm like, oh, he got him.
While y'all are in the
Freaking
slough
happy birthday.
getting scraps,
Yeah.
I was in the woods getting scraps.
Welcome to the 30 Club. No better way than shooting a 160.
Yeah, he actually was a mainframe 8-point. I think he had like 12 scoreable points. Maybe
3 or 4 scoreable
time.
what are they
like
called?
stickers.
Abnormals?
Yeah, abnormals. But he was 158. That's what we had him.
Yeah.
Unofficially.
Unofficial, it was me scoring it, so
We were being conservative.
we weren't rounding up too much, maybe just a half inch or
But
something.
this deer had Josh in shambles for
Oh my
weeks
gosh.
to a month probably.
I was
Plenty
driving.
of encounters with him, and
So I'd seen him four times, including the time that I shot him. The first time I seen him, like y'all know about this, like pouring rain. He comes in, stands there at 40 yards for, I think it's 22 minutes. Moves from 40 yards to like 25 yards, and I can't see him behind a tree. And then goes from 25 yards to 15, and he's head up with me and stares at me for 23 and a half minutes. And I was in a box stand facing where he was standing. And by the time he got in, it was almost dark anyways, but it was really dark after about 10 minutes. And I couldn't see my pins. I was full draw for 5 minutes, had my elbow rested up on the back wall and my cams on my knee. And this deer's just standing there eating, looking up at me, looking around. I mean, pouring rain. And finally, it gets so dark in there. I just let my bow down, and I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this deer eat. He eats right at dark. I watch his silhouette walk off and get out of the woods. Ended up having another encounter with him and another buck I called Goofy the next week, and it was pouring rain that day. So it's kind of trending to where it's like when it's raining, these deer are moving. They're I don't know if they weren't rutting. They were definitely kind of chasing a little bit. It's kind of pre-rut. So I saw him again. So I saw Goofy come barreling through the woods chasing this doe, still after that deer right now. And then Scraps comes around at 30 or 40 yards and turns and runs to about 70 and stops, and then he runs off. So that was my second time I saw him. Third time I saw him, he actually came out the day before I killed him, or 2 days before I killed him, the day before the opening day of duck season, and I saw him moving a freaking 20-foot tree. I mean, I saw a doe walk off, so I glassed up. He walks out, and I see this tree moving, and I was like, that's got to be a decent buck. And here he comes walking behind the doe. So saw him then, go duck hunt the next morning. We're in the slough. Look at my phone, and he's daylighted at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I was just about to say there was multiple occasions where either you hunted that morning or decided not to, and every single one of those times in daylight,
yeah.
you had pictures of him on your phone.
Yeah, I
like
stood,
this was the most elusive deer ever.
I stood. There's multiple times where I was on the same property as the deer, and the deer was out in daylight, and I wasn't in my stand.
Well, I think it might have been that Thursday or Friday or whatever it was. You hunted until like 9:30, went to brush a couple blinds, and then at like 10:15, this deer's standing 15 yards from the stand.
And I was in the stand, and so the day before that, he had daylighted at 10:30, like standing there broad daylight. So I'm like, I'm going to sit till 9:30 or 10, give him a chance. I didn't see a single deer that morning, so I was like, it's pretty easy for me to get down. I left my camera arm in the tree, I left my backpack in the tree, and 30 minutes after I get down, I go over to brush a duck blind, and he's standing under my stand, like 15 yards from my tree. And so I'm like, I'm about to have to, I think it's going to take some sacrifice. Like I sacrificed a lot of time at home. I sacrificed a lot of time driving. And so, I mean, I was going 4 hours round trip like 3 or 4 days a week. So
that opening morning, I think you hunted that afternoon. Yes. We drove from here to Wynn, which is about an hour, a little over. Came back here.
I went back.
We hunted here, and then Josh drove back again, and then back again that night, and then finally got it done the next morning.
Chasing this deer all over the place, and he was in one block of woods, and he was literally one block of woods. I'm convinced that he never left that block of woods.
I bet he didn't, because he was never at the other spot.
I have like 3 or 4 cameras, and he was never on any of them except for the 2 that were where I killed him. But anyways, got an arrow in him. What was crazy was when the episode comes out, you'll see it, but you won't see it because he freaking jumped out of my frame because I didn't film the kill shot. I suck. But the tree that's in front of me, I had to like shoot over the branch and then under another tree, and it hits this deer and sticks in him, and he runs off, and he's got the arrow in him. I saw it, but I couldn't tell exactly where I hit him. I knew he was quartering away, so I either hit him in the ribs or I hit him in the front shoulder. And I was kind of like, I knew I hit him good, but I was like, maybe I hit him back or two. I don't know. And so I ended up getting down out of the tree, and I walk over there, and where that deer was standing was scuffed up, and then there was just blood everywhere.
Yeah, it was the cleanest heart puncture you could ever imagine with a bow. Came
in the right side, kind of quartering away, hit opposite shoulder, and immediately started bleeding. I mean, we had a whole search crew out there. We just had a bunch of guys duck hunting. We were all in there looking, but you can ask any of these dudes, and like we've got 14 camera angles.
Yeah,
there is more blood, I think, from that. That's probably the most blood I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like if you had a water hose and you're just walking down the woods doing this, just spraying it everywhere.
I mean, it was the easiest track job ever. We got on blood for maybe 20 yards and then looked up, and he wasn't another 30 yards in front of us.
Yeah, it was, just to get him killed. I haven't deer hunted in 2 weeks for the most part since I killed him. And so I'm just like, kind of nice to just chill out and focus on duck hunting. Really, the last week or two, I've been editing. We've got Gadwall video coming out. Let's talk about that. We just went on a duck hunt last week. Me and Nate did with Charlie back in Arkansas. We're not going to say where, but the Gadwall hole. And we had
it's a little south.
So we were in Dumas.
Yeah, we were down there around Mississippi.
I think we were at Pine Bluff. I can't remember.
We were on a pretty good hunt. That episode will come out probably before this comes. We'll see.
Probably tomorrow, right?
Probably tomorrow.
Hopefully.
But anyways, there was 30 or 40 groups of 30 and 40 coming in this Gadwall hole, and Charlie's sitting there like, dude, where are the ducks?
Where are the ducks at?
There's no ducks. I'm like, dude, we just shot a 6-man limit in like 30 minutes. But he said the day before there was like groups of 200-300 coming in. He had his daughter with him.
Yeah.
He was getting in late. So, I mean, all that to say, we had a good opening day.
Couple really, really crappy days, which I think everybody, if you duck hunted in Arkansas and you just don't have a premier spot, not a lot of water, not a lot of food, not a lot of ducks. So I think if you had the ducks in one spot and you went and hunted them open day, you probably shot them up pretty good like we did. And then kind of struggled the other days. I think second day when we were in the slough, we shot like 10. And
well,
but we only
cut
hunted till like 7:45.
Yeah, I was gonna say we cut out early to
but
go
even
look for
then,
that
we
deer.
weren't getting near the amount of ducks working that we had the day before. And then we came here to CB, shot like 5, and then went to the slough again, shot like 10, and then came back here and shot
Just
like
real
3.
spotty.
So
But like all in all, it was a good icebreaker for the season.
Yeah, I
killed our duck Saturday, killed a deer Sunday, had a few hunts that were hit or miss, had a good Gadwall hunt, and then I think there's a few more birds here now than there was, but we got thunderstorms.
100%,
We got
yeah.
heavy thunderstorms coming Friday night and Saturday. So
Yeah, and this is going to sound ass backwards, but maybe there's a tornado that blows through here. No damage to anybody, but there is some history to that. I think we put that episode out last
two
year,
years ago.
2 years ago. But yeah, we had a tornado blow through here.
probably
and we're like, this is
top
screwed.
top 5 hunts ever here, honestly.
I mean mallards. The
We
wind.
shot 30 greenheads, I think.
Well, the wind was like
Yeah.
40 miles an hour out of the north, and we were worried the ducks were going to be gone. Like we got there the day before, a lot of ducks. We knew that there was going to be a tornado. We watched it right here on the screen porch.
Yeah.
We could hear the sirens going off, and it hit 15 miles north of us up here in Augusta. And
Is that the one that went all the way to Kentucky?
Yeah, Missouri, Kentucky.
and it damaged a ton of stuff, killed people.
Yeah.
And we wake up the next morning and we're just like kind of in shambles. We're like,
Big time.
do we go duck hunt or like we didn't know what to expect, but we show up out there and it was just like an overcast day, 40-mile-an-hour winds out of the north, and we killed a few other birds,
We shot nothing but mallards and gadwall.
but the mallards were just doing it. Just doing it.
It's just doing it.
Well, when you get them hung up in a 40-mile-an-hour wind, I mean, it was crazy.
Oh, they were just floating.
Yeah,
it was some
they're-
of the easiest shooting.
And it's
ever.
not like we were just getting swarmed by mallards. It's like they're pitching off a field, and they'd come in 2 or 3 or maybe like 4 or 5, and they'd just come straight
We
in.
weren't
no
having to really
hesitation.
work for them either. They were wanting in there.
Yeah, and it's because it was the first day after the first split, and so we had a bunch of ducks in there. But then that storm hit, and when those storms hit, you never know if those ducks are just going to hunker down and wait it out, or if they're going to get up and just head out. So.
Which is funny because that was the first day back from the split, and
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm saying.
this Saturday
Yeah,
exactly.
for us, and it's going to storm again.
It's going to storm, but yesterday looked good. I don't know what y'all saw today, but I mean, I was there 30 minutes before dark, and the ducks that were already in there and the ducks that were coming in, we had a bunch. So that'll be
Well, usually that's kind of how it always goes. Like first split is real hit or miss, usually still hot. And then second split, it usually kind of starts picking up. So hopefully it sticks to that pattern because we're about due for a couple bangers.
yeah. I think it'll be pretty good.
I think we got a good chance of one, if not Saturday, then Sunday.
The rain hunts that we had last year, we shot a lot. It was a lot of teal, but I mean we shot their ass off with the Mississippi guys. I think the Florida guys were in on one. The rain just brought the ducks last year.
Teal. You know, we ain't scared to shoot teal, and
we're
it's
pretty good
actually
at
pretty
doing that.
shocking because usually early in the year, I mentioned that we shot like 5 or 10 ducks here. Usually, we'll shoot 5 or 10 like mallards and gadwall, and then we'll shoot 20 teal or something like that. But I bet in total in all of those hunts we saw 3 groups of teal, and that's it, which is pretty crazy for over here. So, first split was good.
Migration's late. Like we were up in
Yeah,
Canada
well, I mean,
in middle of October. Migration was super late.
Yeah.
up there, and
Kevin's still shooting mallards up there.
and right now it's 60-something degrees here, and
Yeah.
it's just like there's just nothing. I mean, there is some snow and some stuff that just popped up north, but like we got this front coming Saturday, and then I think it's supposed to cool off after that.
yeah,
But
next week looks really good.
we just haven't had the numbers.
No, but I think we do now, just like across the state, because we got a huge rain what was it, last week or weekend? I can't
Yeah,
remember. We had a ton of rain, and then everyone I've talked to, I say everyone, all 2 people I've talked to now have birds. So, and we got birds, and we got a lot more water, which is what you need.
Yeah, but the fields, like to me though, the fields that usually are holding birds around here aren't
Yeah,
really
well,
holding.
the fields that are around here usually are pumped or fill up from rain. But, I mean, I still feel like, because usually I feel like November we get a ton of rain, and by December, January, we're starting to hit that point where we have too much water. But I feel like even like September, October, we had no rain. It
was
like
a really dry summer,
it
too.
was horribly dry. And, like, I mean, our food plots didn't start growing until like late October, which usually we get a good rain in like into September or something, but that never came. And it was already so dry around here. So, and a lot of people don't want to pump their fields and waste some money, and they just board it up and wait for rain. And I feel like that's kind of the spot we're in right now, because a lot of the fields that we usually see holding birds and holding water don't have it. So
yeah, I think it's a combination of all of that, just not getting cold enough up north, and then just a water shortage that's just got them kind of spread out.
Well, what's kind of weird was the cash was up, like way up 2 weeks ago. Like the week before duck season started, it was out of its banks. It was up. And then the week of season drops out. And I've heard, there were some guys I talked to on the cache that shot a ton of ducks, but that was like opening day. They were on the channel. And, I can't speak for everybody because I hadn't been over there yet, but the cache gauge dropped like 6 feet in 1 week. And so they went from you can hunt anywhere in there to hunting almost nowhere. So, and just as a crow flies from where we're sitting right now, about a mile from the cache.
Maybe.
So when that cache is up, it definitely benefits us. We hold more birds in the area, and it's, I just think we're behind.
Yeah, and we'll even get a lot that once they start getting shot on the cache, we'll start flying back over this way. We'll get some trickles kind of later in the morning of birds that were in the cache, but with no water, they're just not in there.
Yeah. As far as the duck numbers go, do you think that Canada, like shooting those birds in Canada, those numbers?
If it doesn't play a factor, then like tonight's the duck social at in Little Rock that these people go get up on the panel and talk about duck hunting and the reason why it's not as good or the things you need to do better. But if you haven't hunted Canada or seen like the videos of what goes on up there, you can't tell me that's not one of the main reasons that the amount of ducks don't make it down here. Because if you took away, what's an 8-bird limit per man per day?
And even just with, what do we have, 6 guys?
Yeah,
we shot 450 in 4 days.
We shot 500 and something.
Oh.
So and the spec limit's up.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine if the limit goes from 8 to 6. I don't know what that translates to, but it's got to be millions of ducks.
Yeah.
That don't get that
well,
make it.
We're also just sitting here and we're not biologists and haven't done a single study. And I think that
no, but I mean it's just
speculation.
100%. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Outside looking in and like being up there and experiencing that.
Yeah.
It's like we're not going to decimate a population by any means, but it's like you could definitely help.
You put a dent in all the juvies that literally freshly get hatched. You could save 2 a day per man that can get down here. 25 cents you could save 2 a day.
But then you got to think like all the other groups that are up there doing the same thing that we do, but then having the border closed in 2020, I feel like the numbers were up.
But it plays some factor. I'm not a biologist, but I've also listened to some biologists and not made any sense of what they were saying, and it didn't make any sense. Like at the Duck Social a couple years ago, there was a biologist up there, don't remember which one, don't know his name. He was talking about the potholes in Nebraska being the main reason the ducks don't make it down to Arkansas. And I was just like, how does that it might play some factor, but I have no idea how that translates to like the overall population of ducks, because you have all these different flyways and they're not all coming through Nebraska. You know, they're all splitting off. Some are going east, some are going west, some are coming down the central one. But I'm telling you, like the amount of birds that do get killed in Canada per year, it's if you knock the limit down or change, I don't want to say change dates because they're hunters too. Like I'd be pissed if they changed my dates. But definitely the bag limit plays a huge factor, because when we went and hunted ducks, I think we went after ducks twice in Canada. It was, I mean, the easiest hunting you could possibly do. And we've done it in an hour.
Well, it's crazy.
You're
like
shooting 8 a man.
The patterns that ducks have and I went to that same social thing and listened to this guy that was an actual biologist a few years ago that was saying that they studied like this group of mallard hens, and they would go back. They had these like GPS trackers on them, and he said that these things are so just like zoned in with this GPS in their head that where these mallard hens were hatching in Canada, not only were they going to the same field, they were going to the same like 5-foot radius and hatching
In
eggs
that field?
in that same exact field.
That's crazy.
And so I think they just kind of stick to those patterns, and maybe that's why these guys are like, oh, the flyway's shifting west because these birds have been on such a pattern for so long and gotten shot up that maybe they're moving. Who knows? There's tons of explanations.
Well, that's why a lot
it,
of guys, like some of these big outfitters, imprint. They like right after season, they drop water, fly in food.
That's exactly what they're doing. That's why that mallard hen thing made so much sense to me, and why I think that works is like once they're done and done getting shot at, and they can find food, they're like we would drop a pin on their phone or on our phone. They're like dropping a pin in their head.
Yeah.
It's like going back to the same nesting area and then flying back in the last place they ate in Arkansas.
Because if you imprint here in Arkansas, say you do it the first week of February, as soon as season's over or as soon as youth season's over, whatever, those ducks, if you hold water, will not leave till like late March.
Yeah.
Because we came
Well,
over
last
here
year
in
was
March.
April.
We had ducks everywhere. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of mallards in each little pothole of water in our road ditches. They were sitting everywhere. And it was still cold then. But if you imprint, then, I mean, those ducks have a good 2 months to sit there and eat and know exactly. And I'm telling you, it's ingrained in their head that they'll come right back there. Maybe not all of them, because some of them are going to die or whatever and split off. But
well, I wish you were talking about the season change. I wish they would change it in Arkansas a little bit. Instead of starting it the last week in November.
It should start till this Saturday.
100%. Start it, here when we don't have to do the first split. It's not hot. Because we all know late January, it's harder to kill them because they're more educated. But those ducks are here, dude. If we could hunt through Valentine's Day in
it's
February.
not even that. I don't even know if you change it from just, I don't know. I mean, it's such a big topic. But like,
we're just sitting here BS.
Yeah,
rolling
you
ideas.
can change it so you can take you don't start it till after the first split, and then you take the second split completely out, let you hunt through there, and still end it at the end of January. You might lose a few days, but I mean, is there really?
You can't lose a few days.
How long is the second split? Is it a week?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm just talking about out of your 60.
No, this goes from the 9th to I think like the 23rd, and then it's out through the 26th or something like that, and then it's in till the end of January.
But here's the problem. I think if you could hunt the first week of February, the amount of ducks that would get killed in the state of Arkansas, you might shoot a quarter of the amount that were killed in the entire season, because it's every single year whenever we come back to the farm to do our like yearly cleanup, like get all the blinds cleaned out and pull deer cameras down when we're like winding things down. It is insane how many ducks are here.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's
and that's
absolutely insane.
I mean, I'm sure it's like that
There's
for that
science
exact
involved.
reason.
That's what I'm saying.
But from a hunter's side of it, we just want to shoot ducks, and that's what we wish would happen. But I'm sure there's logical
there's
reasons
science
why
involved,
it's not.
and a lot of it has to do with the mating deal.
Yeah.
A lot of these birds come down here and like they're already paired up in December and then January, and then it's like if you're nuking them right there in first part of February, middle of February, then it's like you're killing potential.
Yeah, I got that. But we're just BS.
That's probably why the season is exactly how it is.
Every other duck hunter's probably talked about. So
we're just doing it.
But I don't know the reason behind like not putting water in before the actual duck opener. You know, just anywhere, like any spot that has access, like publicly, to put the water in.
Like pumping?
Yeah,
like control water levels.
Control
like
water.
The metro?
Yeah, like they don't do it.
Yeah.
For that first week. Why?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Doesn't
but would
make a
it
lot of
help the
sense.
overall duck hunting? 100%.
Probably so.
And it would get a lot, like some of these places that do have water, like up in northeast Arkansas or something like that, it would take the crowds out of it. Because, I mean, open week in a duck season here in Arkansas is like the biggest
national holiday
there is, you know? And so there's people traveling from everywhere. It's crowded, and there's a ton of pressure put on certain spots.
Well, there's also a lot of studies with trees behind it, like putting water on trees too early, you're going to end up killing trees.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that up to the biologist, I guess. But for 3 dudes sitting here on a Wednesday afternoon,
About to get some whiskey out and really start talking here in a second.
Heyo.
We're just, this is the topics that people talk about.
Well, I think we have the same
Yearly
conversation on the last weekend of January, and I'm sure it happens all over the state. I'm like, God, there's so many ducks, man. I wish we had another week or 2 more weeks. It would just be great. But, yeah, there's people that get paid a lot more than we do to make those decisions.
100%.
Let's talk about deer season. It's been pretty shitty.
It's been pretty bad. As far as for you.
Usually, we'll have a few shooters go after. I shot a deer opening weekend of bow season. I don't even think I've ever talked about it on a podcast. A buck we called Jim Beam. He's probably a 6.5-year-old deer here at the farm. And me and Josh, we climbed up in the stand. We didn't get to hunt until the Sunday of opening weekend. We climbed up in the stand. We're like, we've never killed a buck opening weekend of bow season. And we get in there, and Josh is videoing me, and Shirley, this buck we call Jim Beam, comes out and comes to like 25 yards, and he's quartered away.
He's actually broadside.
He's broadside, and I'm full draw, and I'm like, Josh, you ready?
Well, there's a
And
buck standing in
by
front
the
of him.
time Josh says yes, this little spike comes and stands, like if I was looking through my peep, directly into my peep. So I have to let that spike clear, and as soon as that spike clears, the buck we're about to shoot turns and quarters away from me, which is still a good shot. And from where I was sitting, I don't know if we'll ever release the video, if we ever kill that deer or what. Shoot him pretty much in the middle of the ribs, get 23 inches of arrow penetration, and he takes off running. We think we shot him, and we start trailing blood, and we got good blood for probably 100 yards, and we see the luminoc, and we think we got him dead there. Well, that arrow had pulled out, and I was shooting a Grim Reaper, and I think whenever that arrow pulled out, probably pulled whatever was in his insides out into that hole and just shut it right off because we didn't find another drop of blood after that. Well, we tracked all night, didn't find anything. All the next morning,
Had
tracked.
a thermal drone out looking.
Had a thermal. We had drone deer recovery out here, the local one, not the one you see on YouTube, the local one, and never found them. And then
She got that dog back out here.
well,
Dead.
knowing now what we, I mean, I'm glad we didn't because we would have been. Tracking
No,
a
that was
ghost.
just a total joke.
Yeah, because
So the deer showed back up 2 days later on the same camera I shot him out, and he's just got a giant hole sitting in his rib cage. And to this day, I mean, we haven't seen him in a week or so. To this day, 2 months later, he is still walking around with a hole in his rib cage, and I have no explanation for why that deer isn't dead. I've shot so many deer, quartered away, hit them in the ribs, go straight into the vitals, and they're dead within 100 yards. And this deer, he's still alive.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see the replay of it, and everything about that shot looks money.
It makes no sense.
There's just been a lot of bad juju on some big deer around here.
There has. And when you deer hunt that much, stuff like that happens, and you hate to lose a deer, and I hope the deer makes it until next year. I'm not sure he will, but
you got to kill him
other
this
than
year.
that, we've kind of struggled keeping shooters on the farm this year. And usually we have 4 or 5 that we go after, but right now it's kind of spotty.
got a bunch of hogs. That's
got a bunch
bad
of
problem.
hogs.
We've done a little bit of damage on some hogs, though.
Yeah, we have done that. I think we've killed probably 15 so far this year.
And
Well,
there's
that one night we shot probably 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah.
And there's, I mean, we just got a picture a few days ago. There's like new ones. I feel like it's a whole nother batch that just showed up.
Big
I mean,
ones,
big
too.
ones too, like 15 or 20 in one picture.
Yep.
And then there's, I mean, 2, 3, 4. They're showing up at 4 different cameras. So it's like one night we ought to film an episode doing that. If I can find a way to get some
If you
sort
can
of
find a way to record, well, you'd have to have all thermals that record, and then use the footage recording through the scopes.
Coles will
in the video.
it'll
Coles
do it.
Coles records, and then I'm
we
either
could film
gonna,
off the drone.
I'm gonna buy one. Josh will probably buy one, and maybe late December we'll have a big party out here.
Dude, I don't even want a fancy one. I just need something that's I can.
I just want to
see.
be able to see at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then if you can see at night with these hogs, I mean, we walked up on a group of them, probably 80 yards, and Cole's the only one with the thermal. And
I mean,
just,
it's pitch black. You can't see
you
a
can
thing.
stick your hand right here, and you have no
I mean, it's
idea.
it's 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And Cole sets up and drops the first one, and then, like,
And then
we
it's
all
just
flip
mayhem
on
after
our
that.
headlights, and Nate's trying to shoot with a red dot,
No, it's an open sight AR, and we're just shining flashlights, and these things are just
I
scattering.
think I killed one. I had 40 rounds, and I can't see a damn thing. I'm just
Sounds like an absolute war going off.
but it's fun. Something to do.
Yeah, it's fun. Those things. I mean, we put in some serious time and effort in our food plots,
And they've ruined them.
They've ruined the food plots. I know our neighbors killed a few. We've killed like whatever they said, 15. But we could easily kill
50 more.
50. I was gonna say 50,
and still have probably half the population left.
Yeah. Let's talk about this past Saturday was the Arkansas Youth Hunt. And we took our little cousin Jackson. Y'all have probably seen the last few episodes from really the last 2 or 3 years. He's killed his first duck. He went from killing his first duck to killing his first limit.
To backing his limit up.
And
then now shot half the limit.
Yeah, so this past weekend he came back over to the farm. It was him by himself, and his dad for his Christmas present got him a brand new Benelli M2. We put him a Jebs 585 and that. I mean, I don't know if the choke was too tight for him, but it's the same choke he's been shooting in previous years, and it took him close to a box before he hit his first one.
Yeah, he just wasn't on his A game. Happens to the best of us.
Happens to the
Oh,
best.
it does.
Whenever I was hunting in that gadwall hole, I was struggling. I couldn't hit a damn thing, and I always shoot a 12 gauge when we hunt here. But if we go hunt a tight timber hole or something, I shoot my 20. That sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And
the camera was behind you, and you were missing, and then I moved over to Charlie, and Charlie started missing, and you were hitting.
I'm telling you, you get that camera put on you, and it's
no, it's not the camera. It's the difference in the gun, like the weight of the gun.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and just like getting used to, pulling it up and shooting a duck. But yeah,
we've definitely all had our embarrassing moments with
Blaine
the camera
Knight
on where we
Canada,
just swing and miss.
My gosh, Blaine was. That poor man couldn't hit a damn thing.
Well, Blaine, first off, he's probably having a hard time freaking holding his gun because his heart's racing because he's chasing birds all over the freaking decoy
And
spread.
y'all weren't there. I think you and Cole went back to the hotel, warm your feet up, take a shower, grab some coffee, whatever. It was just me, Josh, and Dustin, and this freaking snow, just juvie snow comes in out of the fog, setting up perfect, and Josh gets right behind me. Yeah, this one won't be released. There's a little bit of language in there.
Should we lay it over this podcast here and watch the footage?
Just lay it over, and you'll just have to bleep out a couple things. But, dude, I swung in just 20, 30-yard shot. This thing, feet down, locked up. I swung and missed twice. I think winged him on the third shot, and Dustin smoked him. But that one's pretty good. But, yeah.
You're lucky there wasn't a band on that thing.
Oh, I know.
But that's a prime example. For me, Jackson, this past weekend, we had a group of 10 or 12 gadwall come in, had 2 widgeon, 2 teal. I mean, he ended up shooting 3 gadwall. He's never killed a gadwall before, and he was before going into the hunt, our goal was to either kill a gadwall or a drake widgeon, and he's wanting or a wood duck. He wants to mount a wood duck.
Yeah.
And he killed 3 gadwall, 2 drakes and a hen. So.
And I think the main problem was too is in previous years we just let like some 1s and 2s get in there, and it's a lot easier for him to shoot. We landed a big group of teal, big group of gadwall, had a group of like 10 mallards right off the get-go come and work, and I told them to try and shoot them because they were just circling. They finally made a good pass. And whenever you have that many birds come in, and I think he was just a little bit overwhelmed, and it's hard to just track one bird when you're that young. You haven't done it too much.
I mean, we're shooting 10 yards probably.
Yeah, but once we finally got that single gadwall or a couple of them to come in, he started wearing them out. But
Nate was over there contemplating if he wanted to use his birth certificate written in green crayon with the $10 bill in it. I am 12.
I'm Carlos. I am 12.
Carlos, you're drunk.
You look like beer.
Carlos, you smell like beer. You look like beer.
Yeah, but that's kind of where we've been, what we've been doing. Got a couple episodes coming out soon. Going to try to get back on the Canada train. Still got probably 2 or 3 left.
I know how that's going to go. That ain't happening until end of the year.
But that pond hunt from the last day with that sunrise, and dude, we just beat their ass. That's going to be a good hunt.
It's just tough to edit and film and hunt on a daily basis this time of year, but we're trying to roll out episodes. This podcast actually helps a little bit, get some content out there.
Oh yeah. And just spent 2 hours probably getting other content for Brad and them, and then obviously did the podcast. So it's just stuff going on all the time, man. Trust me, I've missed being able to duck hunt, but at the same time, I'm like, dang, we need to get back into. It's nice having the break to edit, but it's like, dude, we got to get back into it. So
You want to wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up. I need to get home.
Yeah, we're going to head on out of here. So appreciate you guys tuning in. We were just kind of BSing on this one. Just kind of threw it together. Wanted to just update you where we're at. Kind of tell a few stories from opening week. Couple more episodes coming out this week. Gadwall episode, Canada episode next week. So y'all be sure to subscribe, like this video. Be on the lookout for some more. Hey, apparel. We don't have this hoodie in stock right now, but we do have these 2 hoodies. Got new hats.
New hats.
And y'all be sure to head to our website, kzonetv.com, and follow us on social media. See you guys on the next one.
Adios.
Peace.